Aloha, welcome back to Aina Bear Farm. This is an update tour for our pasture conversion to a food forest. It's early January here on the Big Island of Hawaii. Just wanted to show a few highlights, a few things that are new, and just kind of get a sense of how the food forest does in the middle of winter here. It's early in the morning, you still got some deep shadows, but you can see that we have cleared a lot of grass recently with our brush cutter, gone around, fed that to the growing fruit trees. You might notice a difference in size of some of these are just kind of poking out all over the place now. Here at the very back line, the edge of that grass is where the land just drops pretty steeply, so we won't be managing that area until later this is established. Of our compost stacks here in the middle. We'll continue to just clear and plant going this way. We've also cleared this large section recently. We took out a large silk oak that was here that was half dead. Just went ahead and got rid of that so that we could plant our trees without worrying about it falling or having to take it down later. We've cleared all the way back to the grass there. Mangoes looking good, putting on a little bit of new growth here in January. And then now we have about an acre left back here that's kind of our zone 5, and a neighbor is going to bring his horses in, so he's put in an electric fence, which you might be able to see that white line there, and they'll eat down the grass, spread some manure, so that's kind of a nice little partnership for now, and we get to hang out and ride horses. So let me take you around, show you a few things that are new and exciting here in the project. I wanted to have a look at this Soursop, which we grew from seed. So this has been in the ground as a seed about a year and a few months. And you can see the growth on that. It's probably about 5 feet tall. Exceptional. This family, the Annona family, I think just does really well in this location. We've planted a few Cherimoya, Rollinia. We're about to plant quite a bit more because they're just so easy to take care of. You can see all the new, brighter growth coming on in January. So we're excited about this one. Wanted to show off the growth of this Mexican sunflower. We finally got a few of these to take. Turns out I had some cuttings that were from the Tithonia diversiflora, which is what we wanted, this guy. And I had these other cuttings that are from a plant that I have yet to identify that looks very similar until it flowers, in which it grows these little white flowers. And it does not propagate well from cuttings at all, whereas this stuff, I have done some chop and drop, thrown it under some mulch, and come back to find several new plants growing. So this is the easy one to propagate that everyone had told me. It's finally coming to fruition here. We're getting tons of chop and drop and some windbreak in some key places, so that's pretty cool. I wanted to show off the growth of these papayas. These have only been in the ground since September, I believe, and already just shot up. Huge, way taller than me. Putting flowers on them. Kind of zoom in on some of these. There, I believe those are female flowers. They're a pretty good size. And we've got kind of a mixture in here of female and then I think hermaphrodite plants that have both the male and female flowers on them. I don't think I have any male flowers. These are the solo variety, which are known for having lots of hermaphrodite plants so that you can get fruit off of just one plant, hence the name solo. We've got a few areas like this where we've been able to clear away enough to start coming back with some ground cover. So we did put some perennial peanut in here. Excited to see that spread, and we'll continue to put those plugs in all over and kind of reclaim some of this ground that was this guinea grass, and then we'll just kind of keep digging it out. And then next to that, we got some mamaki that the insects love to eat. But other than that, pretty happy in this fairly shady spot. So we're really excited about mamaki for tea, one of my favorite things to use for tea. We've added some of this African blue basil, which is an awesome, long-lasting basil that just keeps flowering and leafing and flowering and leafing. And of course, this brings in tons of bees, has a wonderful aroma, and it is useful for culinary, although it's a really strong camphor type of basil, so it has to be your cup of tea. But it's just a really nice addition to the landscape, just kind of next to this jabuticaba. We've got some mint ground cover running amok next to some comfrey here. Mint is a great ground cover, but it will keep going and going and going, so you have to manage it a little bit. This is in a Satsuma tangerine tree, and the mint loves to run up underneath that mulch. That's, you know, where it can go and get plenty of moisture. So I just come rip it out every once in a while from underneath there and spread the love in other places. But otherwise, really great ground cover, really useful. Got a little basil plant mixed in there. So just some nice diversity. Cranberry hibiscus next door here. Just a nice little spot, a lot of different things going on. There's a kabocha squash, what's left of it, popping up all over. I want to show this new growth on our mango really quickly. Middle of January, sending up brand new growth tips that have that very shiny, somewhat reddish tint to them. And mango's cool. If you've never grown mango or never seen this, it'll kind of sit for a little while. Like, you can see the little buds coming out of the top there. It'll sit for a little while, and then in like 1 or 2 days, a shoot about a foot long will just skyrocket. It's kind of fun to watch because they grow like in spurts really fast like that. So just kind of showing off that middle of winter, middle of January, or early January, still got a lot of growth here to get excited about. It's not the best lighting right now with the morning sun and shade combo, but just wanted to show this little trellis made with some cattle panel. We've got chayote squash climbing up that, which makes really cool little squash-like fruits that are more like very mild, kind of crispy, different from a lot of other squash that you've had, but if you've never had the chayote. But we grow them primarily because the green shoots, the tips, are really good to eat. Have a kind of asparagus-like flavor. You just saute those up there. So it's just getting started. Really easy to get going. You can find them in a store that caters to like definitely Central American, but also like Southeast Asian, Filipino foods. You just grab a fruit, put it on the windowsill until it sprouts, and then stick it in the ground. Could not be easier. And then next door to that, we've got some kabocha squash coming up here. Just super easy as well. Just chuck the seeds around and wait for the best looking one, thin it out. So that'll provide some ground cover. And another trellis next door with another chayote on there. We repurposed a clothesline that we weren't using around there. So quite the scavenger when it comes to this stuff. This was ironwood cuttings that were in a place that I didn't want it. So just kind of reusing everything and make something useful. So this whole area is new since the last video. I think I've talked about it in previous videos, but we had this area in between spots of the food forest that we wanted to keep with a little bit of a lower vegetation line, like a lower canopy. And so I thought doing some crop rows here would be really cool, and we have easy access to irrigation that we can hook up, and there's a view of the ocean from the house further up the hill that's pretty good, and I didn't want to block it with a lot of trees, and so I wanted to keep it a little bit more open. And so this was a good solution for this area. We started off with some black beans. They're doing really good. I mean, they get really chewed up by pests eventually because I don't spray them with anything, but they put on a heavy crop, and then the pests come and chew them up, and then I come and harvest the beans, and it so far works out fine. And we've got a line of white pineapple that we got from Bill Merrill here on the Big Island, the Green Garden guy. I'll put a link to his channel because if you're local, he's got a great nursery, and sometimes he will kind of harvest large quantities of something like white pineapple and offer some pretty good deals. You run down there and pick them up. And just a really cool guy with his own channel, YouTube channel, lots of great videos. So I'll put a link in the description. You can check him out if you haven't already. But this area will continue to add crop lines on contour. That's why those are curved. And we will keep certain segments for grass, kind of a little bit like an agroforestry type of system. So we'll have, this is a 4-foot bed, about 1.5 feet of path, maybe 2 feet of path. And then we'll have a 4-foot strip of the guinea grass, and then another 4-foot crop bed, grass bed, and so on and so forth. And that way we can come and just mow down the grass to use as a heavy mulch. So you'll see, like, if I can get my shadow out of the way, heavy mulch in there, and then little basils in between the beans. That heavy mulch just locks in moisture, provides organic material, really reduces the weeds that we have to deal with. But you have to have a source. And so you can see I just cut this. Tons of grass. That stuff grows so fast. And we can add really simple fertilizers to keep the grass going, like diluted urine, something like that. And just keep mowing and adding it to the beds. And I don't know, eventually I might think a little bit more about agroforestry here and put in some bananas and some other canopy type of things that I can chop and drop as well. But for now, I like this kind of just simple idea of lanes of grass that I can mow and add to the system. Now down here at the bottom, we put in a callow patch, which is doing great so far. These are dryland callow, so they don't have to be routinely flooded like you often see in the callow growing systems, the taro growing systems, where they have access to a stream and flood it like a paddock, like a rice is grown. But these still do need a lot of water, and so we put them at this, right up against this berm that was here prior to us. Found a good spot for them, and then dug out a big trench, filled it up with food scraps so it's really rich with organic material, and then stuck in the huli, the little starters for these maybe a month and a half ago. Some of them are already really good size, and we'll continue to expand a nice long line of that out that way. And then right next to that, I'll just show, since we're here, finally got a hold of a plant I had been looking for a while, which is a golden nugget loquat. It's a grafted, improved variety of loquat with really nice big fruits on there. For some reason this was hard to find for a while. In some places I think they're rather common, but it took me a while to find a good one here. Got the really happy sun hemp hanging out next to that. And so that's pretty much it for the winter updates here at Ina Bear Farm. Looking back up the hillside, you can see just a lot of the little trees popping up. We've got a ton of Gliricidia propagated sticks sitting out there right now, just waiting to get their roots in the ground. So those will blow up and we'll have really nice growth on those. We've got ice cream bean seedlings out there, a few Lucana. There's a lot of support stuff out there. In the meantime, we're just going to continue to feed the grass to the trees, chop away at the grass, add some different ground covers, put in more diversity, just maximize the growing potential in all this sun that we have now, because in the future this will be a somewhat closed canopy. All right, so my voice has set off the dogs. That's my cue to end the video. Thanks for joining us again at Bear Farm. If you have any questions or comments, definitely throw it in the comments section, and we'll look forward to seeing you back here in the future. Aloha.